I'm Annie Kezar, and I am a current master's student on French horn performance at the University of Minnesota. This is a French horn, and it is a part of the brass families, and I've got 3 different keys here to play with, which means that it's based on the harmonic series. Just to keep that in mind as you're composing, that it's a lot more difficult to play a lot of chromatic notes quickly compared to, say, a clarinet or piano. It's got a very deep and rich sound, and it sounds like this. So there's the 3 basic parts of the range, the low, mid, and high section. So the low range sounds more like this. It's very dark and deep. Then we've got our middle register that's much more comfortable to play in and sounds more like this. And the high register is a lot more bright, and if you're looking for something to really pop out, this is a good register to start with. In terms of key signatures, a good rule of thumb for French horns would be to start off with something like F. We're really comfortable in that key, as well as B flat or E flat. Generally, the less flats or sharps that you put in it is better, just because it's a lot simpler to read, especially for a first composition like this. So the transposition for the horn is probably the trickiest of all transpositions. In terms of transposing, when we look at a note, it actually is a 5th higher than what you would write in, say, concert pitch. So when everyone else is playing a concert B flat, we play F. The strengths of the French horn would be playing, as I said before, in the harmonic series. So slurs like this sound really great on the horn. And we can do that in all sorts of different keys, but that always is a great thing to go for the horn. Nice glisses are always fun to play. Or it's really good to play stepwise things, as well as maybe not fast patterns, but we do have the ability to play fast notes. Some weaknesses for the horn would be playing softly. We're much better at playing loud, especially in a small chamber setting. We do have the ability to play quietly. It's just maybe not as quietly as our counterparts, depending on who we're playing with. Another weakness would be playing lots of quick chromatic notes. We're capable of doing this, it's just not ideal for French horn players. So being a French horn player, some extended techniques that we have available to us are different tonguing patterns. We can single, double, or triple tongue depending on what presents itself in the music, and we can make those decisions based on the tempo and how it's written. So we do have the ability to play fast notes, it's just not always in the best interest of the composer to make us play these faster notes. But it sounds just the same, just faster. Some other extended techniques that you can use would be a gliss, or we also have mutes that you can use. So it would look like this. Then you just put mute in the music, and we would assume it would be this mute, and it sounds like this compared to this. It's just a softer tone to it. And we also have the ability to flutter tongue, so it would sound like this. So another thing we have for us is stopped horn, and you create stopped horn by closing off the area, the bell of the horn with your hand, like this, and it just Some sound does come out, it's just that buzzy sound. Like that. And in the music, it would be notated with a plus sign above the notes that you want stopped, and then typically when you want it to not be stopped anymore, you would stop writing the plus signs and write open, just to make sure that the player knows to no longer play it stopped. Some difficult things in the music that I find are when it's not written very clearly on what the composer is looking for, and especially with a first reading that we're going to have for this situation, it's really nice to have very concise directions on what you want as far as dynamics, tempo, style, those sorts of things. In my music, I always love to see really great soaring horn parts where it's just that they get to take over and you're like, yes, French horn. Being a horn player, of course, I'm partial to the sound of the horn and I love to hear it, but it's really great when you feel really inspired listening to it, and it's just like, that is why we play French horn. Some composers that are really great to listen to for examples of great horn writing, first off would be Mozart. He wrote 4 horn concertos, and they're really great examples of different things that the horn has the ability to do and how to use those in a concerto setting. The one I would recommend listening to is Horn Concerto No. 2. That's a very basic staple of horn literature, as well as Richard Strauss's Horn Concerto No. 1. That's a very different take on the horn, where Mozart is very light and you can see the different expressiveness of it. Strauss, coming from the Romantic era, has a very different take on the horn, and it's just really great to look at those contrasts. And by far the best example I could think of is Brahms' Horn Trio. It's written for horn, violin, and piano. And not only is it great horn writing, because it's a lot based on the harmonic series, those open sounds that we like to hear, it's also just a great piece of music. I really enjoyed telling all of you about my horn and about my passion, and I hope that it translates well to you and your passion of composing. And good luck composing, and I can't wait to hear it.